Life has a way of bringing people in and out of our journey. Some connections are a blessing, some are a lesson, but none are meant to break us. Maybe you poured your heart into a relationship, given your best to someone, and now you're facing the pain of letting go. It's hard, but I want to remind you today, your heart is too valuable, your purpose too great to stay bound to something God is calling you to release. You see, when God is ready to take you to the next level, He will remove what is weighing you down. That's not rejection, that's protection. That's not a loss, that's a setup for something greater. The key is knowing how to detach in a way that doesn't leave you bitter, broken, or burdened. Life has a way of bringing people into our path at just the right time. Some come in like a breath of fresh air, filling our lives with joy, encouragement, and shared experiences. Others arrive in moments of difficulty, offering lessons, challenges, or even heartache. But one of the hardest truths to accept is that not everyone is meant to stay forever. Some people are seasonal, they come for a purpose, and when that purpose is fulfilled, they move on. It's natural to want to hold on, to make temporary people permanent. But when we do that, we set ourselves up for unnecessary pain. Recognizing when someone's season in your life is over is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. When a relationship starts to fade, we often feel a sense of loss, as if something went wrong. But friend, nothing went wrong. Life is unfolding exactly as it should. Some people are sent into your life to help you grow, to teach you a lesson, or to prepare you for something greater. That's why it's dangerous to measure relationships only by their length. Longevity doesn't equal purpose. Someone could be in your life for a short time, but leave an impact that lasts forever, while others may stay for years without truly adding value. The key is to understand that God orchestrates every connection, and when He removes someone, it's not rejection, it's redirection. Think about the seasons of the year. Each one has its own beauty, its own lessons, and its own time to begin and end. Spring brings new beginnings. Summer brings joy and adventure. Autumn teaches us about change. And winter shows us the value of stillness and rest. If we tried to force summer to stay all year, we would miss out on the transformation that fall and winter bring. The same is true for relationships. If you keep trying to hold on to someone who was meant to leave, you might miss the new blessings God has in store for you. Every person has a season in your life, and when that season ends, trust that something new is coming. One of the biggest reasons people struggle with detachment is because they believe that letting go means forgetting. But letting go doesn't mean the relationship didn't matter. It doesn't mean you didn't love them or that they didn't love you. It simply means their role in your life has been fulfilled. Just like a teacher who prepares you for the next grade, some people come to help you grow and then move on. Instead of mourning their absence, celebrate the purpose they served. Maybe they taught you how to love yourself. Maybe they revealed a strength in you that you didn't know existed. Maybe they helped you see the kind of love you truly deserve. Whatever the case, trust that their presence had meaning, even if it was temporary. The pain of separation often makes us forget the bigger picture. God knows what and who you need for the next chapter of your life. If He allowed someone to leave, it's not to hurt you, but to make room for something greater. Sometimes we settle for relationships that are beneath the level God has called us to. We get comfortable with what is familiar, even when it no longer serves us. But when God removes a person, He is protecting you from staying stuck in a season you were meant to outgrow. Just because something felt good for a time doesn't mean it's what's best for your future. Trust that every departure is divine preparation for something better. Detaching from someone doesn't mean you stop caring. It doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent. It means you accept that their chapter in your life has come to a close. You can still honor the memories, appreciate the good times, and wish them well on their journey without needing to hold on. Emotional freedom comes when you stop clinging to what has already served its purpose. When you release with grace instead of resistance, you invite peace into your life. When you stop chasing after people who have already moved on, you make room for those who are meant to stay. So my friend, don't fight the seasons of life. Don't mourn what God has already replaced. Some people are seasonal, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk with you forever, and that's not a sign of loss. It's a sign of growth. Every time someone leaves, God is making space for something greater, something deeper, something that aligns with His perfect plan for your life. Trust the process, release with love, and know that the best is yet to come. One of the biggest mistakes we make after an emotional attachment ends is keeping our focus on the other person. We replay conversations, analyze what went wrong, and wonder if we could have done something differently. Our thoughts become consumed with their actions, their choices, and their feelings, leaving us emotionally drained. But here's the truth: you cannot heal while staring at a closed door. You cannot move forward while constantly looking back. The more you focus on them, the more you neglect yourself. It's time to shift that focus back where it belongs, on you. Too often we tie our self-worth to how others treat us. If someone stays, we feel valuable. If someone leaves, we feel abandoned. But friend, your value was never dependent on another person's presence in your life. You are not incomplete just because someone walked away. You are not lacking because someone failed to see your worth. Your identity is not in who loves you, who chooses you, or who validates you. Your identity is in who you were created to be. When you make someone else the center of your world, you lose yourself in the process. It's time to take your power back. Think about it. How much of your energy have you spent worrying about them? How many nights have you lost sleep wondering what they're thinking? How many times have you put your own dreams, your own growth, and your own happiness on hold while waiting for them to change? You deserve better than that. Your peace is too precious, your joy too valuable to waste on someone who is no longer investing in you. Instead of waiting for them to notice you, start noticing yourself. Instead of waiting for them to choose you, choose yourself. Now's the time to pour back into yourself. Take that energy you were giving to them and use it to build yourself up. Maybe you've neglected your passions, your goals, or even your own self-care. This is your chance to rediscover who you are outside of that relationship. What makes you come alive? What dreams have you put on hold? What areas of your life need your attention? The more you invest in yourself, the less power the past will have over you. Shifting your focus doesn't mean you erase the memories or pretend the pain isn't real. It simply means you stop allowing someone else to dictate your emotions. You have the ability to take control of your thoughts, your time, and your energy. Every day, you have a choice. Will you spend it dwelling on what's gone, or will you use it to create something new for yourself? Healing begins the moment you decide that your well-being is more important than holding on to something that no longer serves you. When you start focusing on yourself, you realize that you are so much more than the love you lost. You are strong, capable, and deserving of the kind of love that doesn't require you to beg for it. This season is about you, about healing, about growing, about stepping into everything you were created to be. Let this be the time where you become the person you've always wanted to be. Let this be the moment where you stop looking outside for validation and start finding everything you need within yourself. So instead of asking, why did they leave? Start asking, how can I become the best version of myself? Instead of saying, I miss them, start saying, I am excited about what's ahead for me. Because the moment you shift your focus, you shift your future. The moment you start pouring into yourself, you open the door for new blessings, new opportunities, and a new level of peace you never imagined. And trust me, when you finally start focusing on you, that's when everything changes. One of the hardest parts of emotionally detaching from someone is that everything around you seems to remind you of them. A song on the radio, a certain restaurant, an old photo. Suddenly you're transported back to a place you're trying to move on from. Emotional triggers keep you trapped in the past, making it harder to heal. If you truly want to move forward, you have to be intentional about removing the things that keep pulling you back. Letting go is not just a decision, it's a process. And part of that process is learning to guard your heart and mind. Emotional triggers come in many forms. They can be physical, like old gifts, messages, or places you used to go together. They can be digital, like scrolling through their social media, rereading old texts, or keeping their number saved just in case. And they can also be mental. Certain thoughts, songs, or conversations that bring up old emotion. Whatever keeps you emotionally tied to the past must be addressed, because healing cannot happen in an environment that constantly reopens old wounds. One of the most powerful steps you can take is decluttering your life of anything that no longer serves your peace. That may mean unfollowing them on social media, deleting old messages, or removing their pictures from your phone. It's not about being bitter or pretending they never mattered. It's about protecting your emotional well-being. If every time you see their name it stirs up pain, then keeping that connection open is only delaying your healing. You cannot build a new future while constantly revisiting the past. Some people hesitate to remove these reminders because they feel guilty, as if letting go of those things means forgetting the person. But that's not true. You are not erasing the memories. You are simply choosing not to let them control your emotions anymore. You are making space for new experiences, new growth, and new peace. Keeping painful reminders in front of you is like trying to heal from a wound while constantly picking at the scab. True healing happens when you create an environment that allows your heart to recover. Triggers are not just objects or memories. They can also be people. There may be mutual friends who constantly bring up the person who trying to detach from. There may be conversations that always lead back to them, keeping the pain fresh in your mind. If certain people are preventing you from healing, it may be time to set some boundaries. That doesn't mean cutting off every person in your life, but it does mean limiting the interactions that keep you stuck in the past. Healing requires you to prioritize your peace, even if it means making uncomfortable choices. Another major emotional trigger is our own thoughts. Sometimes the biggest battle is not in the world around us, but in our own minds. You may find yourself replaying old memories, wondering what could have been, or imagining different outcomes. But dwelling on what if will never bring closure. It will only bring confusion. Every time your mind tries to wander back to the past, gently remind yourself that your future is too important to waste on something that is no longer meant for you. Redirect your thoughts toward growth, purpose, and the new opportunities ahead. The truth is, emotional detachment requires discipline. You cannot heal while keeping one foot in the past. If you truly want to move forward, you have to be intentional about removing what is holding you back. The more you distance yourself from the things that trigger old emotions, the more peace you will find. Healing is not about forgetting. It's about choosing to protect your heart. And when you start making choices that prioritize your well-being, you'll realize that emotional freedom is not just possible, it's within your reach. When we detach from someone we cared about deeply, there's often an emptiness that follows. It's that hollow feeling in your chest when you wake up and remember they're no longer a part of your daily life. It's the silence where their voice used to be, the absence where their presence once filled the room. This emptiness can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to break you. Instead of trying to fill it with distractions, temporary comforts, or another relationship, this is the time to allow God to step in and heal those broken places. The space they left behind is not meant for someone else to occupy. It's meant for restoration, renewal, and divine healing. Too often when we feel empty, we rush to fill the void ourselves. We seek validation from others, drown ourselves in busyness, or numb the pain with unhealthy habits. But nothing truly satisfies except the love, peace, and wholeness that comes from God. No person, no relationship, no material possession can ever complete you the way His presence can. The sooner we realize this, the sooner we can stop searching for fulfillment in the wrong places. The emptiness you feel is not a punishment, it's an invitation. An invitation to go deeper, to grow stronger, and to allow God to shape you into the person you were always meant to be. God never removes something from our lives without a reason. Sometimes He closes doors because He sees what we cannot. He knows when a relationship is no longer serving our purpose, when it's keeping us from becoming the best version of ourselves. But He doesn't just take away, He restores. He didn't leave you empty. He fills you with something greater. When you turn to Him, you will find that the loneliness begins to fade, replaced by a peace that surpasses all understanding. But here's the key: you have to let Him in. Healing doesn't happen when you fight the process, when you resist the change, or when you keep trying to go back to what God has already removed. It happens when you surrender. When you say, God, I don't understand, but I trust you. I don't feel strong, but I know you are. I feel empty, but I believe you will fill me. That's when the real transformation begins. Because healing is not about fixing yourself, it's about allowing God to do the work in you. It's about realizing that your heart was never meant to be patched up with temporary things, but to be made whole by the one who created it. If you're feeling empty, don't run from it. Sit with it. Bring it to God in prayer. Be honest about your pain, your questions, and your struggles. He is not afraid of your emotions. He is not distant in your brokenness. He is close to the brokenhearted, and He saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. This is where healing begins, not in ignoring your feelings, but in bringing them before the one who truly understands. And as you lean into God, you'll start to notice a shift. The loneliness turns into peace. The sadness turns into gratitude. The longing for the past turns into excitement for the future. The more you allow Him to fill those empty places, the less you'll feel like something is missing. Because the truth is, you are not missing anything. Everything you need is already within you, waiting to be cultivated, strengthened, and revealed. So instead of trying to fill the void with distractions, fill it with faith. Instead of dwelling on what's gone, dwell in His presence. Because when you allow God to fill the empty places, you will realize that you were never truly empty to begin with. You were simply making room for something greater. When a relationship ends, or when we detach from someone emotionally, it's easy to feel like we've lost something we can never replace. The future may seem uncertain, and we might find ourselves dwelling on the past, wondering if we'll ever feel the same way again. But friend, let me remind you, what's ahead is always greater than what's behind. The pain you feel now is not the end of your story. It's just a chapter. And the pages ahead are filled with new opportunities, new joy, and new blessings that you can't even imagine yet. God never removes something without the intention of replacing it with something better. One of the biggest traps we fall into is believing that our best days are behind us. We look back at what we lost, at the moments that made us happy, and we convince ourselves that we'll never experience that kind of joy again. But God is a God of restoration. He is not just the God of yesterday, He is the God of tomorrow. He has already written new blessings into your future, and if you stay stuck in the past, you'll miss them. What's coming is greater than what has been, but you have to believe it. It's okay to grieve what was. It's natural to feel sadness over what didn't work out. But there comes a point where you have to make a decision. Will you keep looking back, or will you start looking ahead? Will you let the past define you, or will you step into the future with hope? You don't have to have all the answers right now. You don't have to know exactly what's next. You just have to trust that God does. Your future is already in His hands, and He is leading you towards something beautiful. Think about a gardener planting seeds. When they plant a seed, they don't stand over the soil and cry about the seed being buried. They don't mourn the fact that it's underground, unseen, and covered in dirt. They trust the process. They know that in time, with the right care, that seed will break through the soil and bloom into something incredible. Right now, you may feel buried. You may feel like everything around you is uncertain, but you are not buried. You are planted. And in due time, you will bloom. The key to embracing the future is shifting your mindset. Instead of seeing this season as a loss, See it as preparation. Instead of saying, I don't know what's next, start saying, I can't wait to see what's next. Instead of dwelling on what didn't work out, get excited about what's coming, because the truth is, God will never lead you backward. He is always moving you forward. And when you trust Him, when you believe that your best days are still ahead, you will begin to see life differently. But embracing the future doesn't just happen in your mind, it happens in your action. Start taking steps toward your dreams. Reignite your passion for life. Do things that bring you joy. Surround yourself with people who uplift you. Every day is a new opportunity to grow, to learn, and to step into the amazing future that God has for you. It may not look exactly like you imagine, but trust me, it will be even better. So don't hold on to the past out of fear of the future. What's meant for you is still ahead of you. The love you desire, the peace you long for, the purpose you were created for. It's all in front of you, waiting for you to embrace it. Step forward with faith, with confidence, and with expectation. Because when you let go of what was, you make room for what's coming. And what's coming is greater than anything you've left behind. One of the hardest things about emotionally detaching from someone is maintaining the separation once you've decided to let go. It's easy to tell yourself you're moving on, but if you keep allowing that person access to your emotions, you'll find yourself right back where you started. That's why setting firm boundaries is crucial. Boundaries are not about being harsh or unkind. They're about protecting your peace. They are the walls that keep you from being pulled back into unhealthy patterns. If you want to heal, you must set boundaries, and more importantly, stick to them. The reason many people struggle with emotional detachment is because they leave the door slightly open. They say they've moved on, but they still respond to late night texts. They say they need space, but they keep checking their ex's social media. They say they're done, but they keep reminiscing and reaching out. These small actions may seem harmless, but they are what keep you emotionally tied to someone who is no longer meant to be in your life. Healing cannot happen if you keep reopening the wound. Setting boundaries means defining what is and isn't acceptable for your emotional well-being. If you need to go no contact, do it. If you need to block their number to stop yourself from reaching out, do it. If you need to tell mutual friends not to bring them up in conversations, say it. You don't owe anyone access to your life, especially if their presence is hindering your healing. Choosing yourself does not make you selfish, it makes you wise. But boundaries don't just apply to the other person, they apply to you as well. You have to set limits on your own thoughts, your own behaviors, and your own temptations. If you catch yourself dwelling on old memories, redirect your mind. If you find yourself justifying why you should reach out, remind yourself why you shouldn't. Discipline is required for true detachment. You can't keep feeding old emotions and expect new peace to grow. What you allow will continue, so you must choose to stop allowing things that hurt you. Some people may not understand your boundaries. They may try to guilt trip you, saying you're being too extreme or too cold. But remember this, your healing is not up for debate. You don't have to explain why you need space, and you don't have to apologize for protecting your heart. If someone truly cares about you, they will respect your boundaries. And if they don't respect them, then that is even more proof that they were never meant to have access to you in the first place. The hardest part about setting boundaries is the discomfort that comes with it. You might feel lonely at first. You might feel tempted to break your own rules. But growth isn't supposed to be comfortable. Strength isn't built in moments of ease. It's built in moments of resistance. Every time you enforce your boundaries, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your emotion. You are proving that you are in control, not your past, not your feelings, and certainly not the person you are detaching from. So stand firm. Decide what is best for your healing and commit to it. Don't waver when emotions get strong. Don't go back just because nostalgia hits. You are building a new future, and that requires new standards. The moment you start valuing your peace more than temporary comfort is the moment everything begins to change. You are not weak for setting boundaries. You are powerful. And that power will lead you to the freedom and healing you deserve. One of the most powerful ways to emotionally detach from someone is to shift your focus away from them and onto yourself. Instead of asking, what are they doing? Do they miss me? Are they thinking about me? Start asking, what can I do to heal? How can I grow from this? What lessons can I take from this experience? Emotional detachment isn't just about letting go of another person. It's about rediscovering yourself in the process. It's about turning your energy inward, nurturing your own well-being, and becoming the best version of yourself. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It requires intentional effort. If you're spending all your time dwelling on the past, you're not allowing yourself the space to evolve. But when you decide to focus on your own healing, everything starts to shift. You begin to see yourself differently. You start setting new goals. You discover strengths you didn't know you had. Instead of looking at this season as a loss, begin to see it as an opportunity, a chance to rebuild, renew, and transform. You are not broken. You are becoming. One of the best ways to fuel your personal growth is to invest in yourself. Read books that inspire you, develop new skills, explore new passions. Maybe there's a hobby you've always wanted to try, a fitness goal you've been putting off, or a dream that's been sitting on the back burner. Now is the time to pour into yourself. Every moment you invest in your growth is a step toward healing. The more you focus on becoming better, the less power the past will have over you. But healing isn't just about distractions. It's about real, deep transformation. That means taking time to reflect on the experience, learning the lessons, and understanding what you truly need moving forward. What boundaries do you need to establish? What red flags will you never ignore again? What are your non-negotiables in relationships? Your past experiences should not define you, but they should educate you. Growth happens when you take what you've been through and use it to make wiser, healthier choices for your future. It's also important to surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. Healing is much harder when you're isolated. Spend time with friends and family who encourage you, who remind you of your worth, and who help you see the good in your life. Sometimes a strong support system can make all the difference between staying stuck and moving forward. Be intentional about who you allow in your space. You need people who inspire your growth, not those who keep you tethered to the past. And above all, be patient with yourself. Growth and healing are not overnight processes. Some days you'll feel strong, and other days you may feel like you've taken a step back. That's okay. Healing is not linear. What matters is that you keep moving forward, even if it's one small step at a time. Trust that every day you choose yourself, you are getting closer to the peace and happiness you deserve. So shift your focus. Turn your energy inward. Stop wondering what they're doing and start focusing on what you're becoming. Because the best version of you is not in the past. It's in the future. And when you fully embrace your own growth, you'll realize that emotional detachment isn't just about letting go of someone. It's about stepping into a greater, stronger, and more fulfilled version of yourself. One of the hardest parts of emotionally detaching from someone is the fear of the unknown. You might find yourself wondering, will I ever find someone who understands me like they did? Will I ever be that happy again? What if I never feel this deeply about anyone else? These thoughts can keep you stuck, holding on to something that no longer serves you. But here's the truth. What's ahead of you is far greater than what's behind you. God does not remove people from your life without a purpose. When one door closes, it's because He's preparing to open another one that leads to something better, something greater than you could ever imagine. But trusting in what's to come requires faith. Faith means believing in a future you can't see yet. It means knowing that even though things may not make sense right now, they are unfolding exactly as they should. You may not understand why that relationship ended, why things didn't work out, or why you had to go through so much pain. But one day you'll look back and realize that everything was happening for your good. What seems like a loss today is setting you up for a gain tomorrow. Too often we hold on to what's familiar because we fear the unknown. We convince ourselves that we'll never find another love, another friendship, or another opportunity like the one we lost. But that's a lie. The best is not behind you, it's still ahead. You were never meant to stay stuck in a chapter that God has already finished writing. He is leading you to something greater, but you have to be willing to let go of the past to step into the future. Think about a child holding onto an old tattered teddy bear. They don't want to let it go because it's familiar, it's comfortable, it's what they've always known. But what they don't realize is that their parent has something even better waiting for them. A brand new toy, something far more special. That's how we are with life sometimes. We cling to what we know, afraid to release it, not realizing that God is holding something even greater in His hands, just waiting for us to trust Him enough to receive it. But here's the key. You have to open your hands. You can't receive new blessings if you're still gripping the past. You have to make space for what's coming by releasing what's already gone. That doesn't mean you forget the people or experiences that shaped you. It means you accept that they were part of your journey, not your final destination. When you truly trust that better things are coming, you stop looking back with regret and start looking forward with expectation. The beauty of life is that it is always changing, always evolving. What feels like emptiness today will be filled with joy tomorrow. What seems like an ending is actually a new beginning. The heartbreak you feel now will one day be a distant memory, replaced by a love, a purpose, and a peace greater than you ever thought possible. Your story isn't over. It's just getting started. So don't fear the future. Embrace it. Let go of what was and step into what will be. Trust that what's ahead is not only good, but far beyond anything you could have imagined. Because when you walk forward in faith, believing that the best is yet to come, you position yourself to receive the incredible blessings that were meant for you all along. My friend, you have walked through pain, through uncertainty, and through moments where you didn't know if you could truly let go. But today I want you to know this. You are stronger than you think. You have everything within you to heal, to grow, and to step into a future filled with joy and peace. What's behind you is not greater than what's ahead of you. The past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. Your story is still being written, and the best chapters are yet to come. Letting go is not about forgetting. It's about freeing yourself. It's about choosing peace over pain, faith over fear, and hope over heartache. When you set boundaries, when you shift your focus inward, when you trust that better things are coming, you position yourself for a new beginning. You no longer allow someone else to dictate your happiness. You reclaim your power. Maybe you spent too much time looking back, wondering what could have been. Maybe you've been holding on to something that no longer belongs in your life. But today is a new day. Today you get to choose. Will you keep carrying the weight of the past, or will you lay it down and step forward? The choice is yours, but let me remind you. Peace is found in moving forward. Healing is found in releasing what no longer serves you. Joy is found in trusting that your future is greater than your past. So walk forward with confidence. You don't need closure to heal. You don't need answers to move on. All you need is the faith to take the next step. Trust the process. Embrace the journey and know that you are being led to something beautiful, something purposeful, something that was meant just for you.